Drawing is tedious. I mean, I have to spend multiple hours to finish just one single drawing. Or do I? What if drawing didn't have to take that much time? What if I was able to draw in under 30 minutes? Would be great, right? In this video, I will examine my 3 attempts at creating artworks in under 30 minutes, go about what I learned from it, and how it helped my art look more appealing. But how did I even come up with this idea to basically try to speedrun a drawing? Well, I saw this drawing by 9V on Pinterest. I looked at it and I thought how cool it looked, so loose and chaotic, yet still recognizable and appealing. My art on the other side looks too clean. I wanted to be able to draw like this too, and I thought a good way to get such a result was to draw quickly. Also, the style is just awesome. I really want to incorporate such a raw and chaotic feeling in my own drawings. Therefore, I came up with this challenge. Create a finished drawing in under 30 minutes. But half an hour isn't much, at least not for drawing. So I needed a strategy. A strategy for drawing quickly and loosely. And here's the plan I created. I would use one layer for the whole drawing, one brush for rough line art, one painterly brush, one basic round brush, and one joker brush, which I could choose depending on my current needs for the specific drawing. Also, for blocking in larger shapes, I would use the lasso tool. With this plan in mind, I gathered references from Pinterest, set up a timer. I used a speedrun timer just to really get that feeling that I'm under some time pressure here, and I got to drawing. In the background here you can see the drawing process sped up by quite a bit. Before starting to draw, I already had some kind of plan mapped out in my head. More specifically, I would use green for the character's hair and saturated red for the smeared lipstick. These are complementary colors and should look somewhat interesting in this drawing, at least that is what I hoped for. After putting in the background color, I roughly sketched the character's face and hair and all that stuff. And after putting in some skin color, I started carving out the planes that are in light. This is the first thing that I noticed. If you want to create an impactful image quickly, then using a strong value contrast not only is a neat way to create interest, but also the best way to describe form very quickly. Like, if you wanted to show the form and planes of the head, you could go all in on shading it, using core shadows, occlusion shadows, subtle variations and all that which are normally used in the rendering process. But there is a shortcut to showing form, by simply dividing the skin color in planes that are in light and planes that are in shadow. Using a strong light source, the form of the face is already visible after just a few strokes, which is quite perfect for this challenge, where you're under time pressure. Now, the colors did start to feel kinda mushy at this point, which is why I came in with my pencil brush to define the edges a bit more. I rendered some more, especially the eyes, and very quickly time ran out. After 29 minutes and 52 seconds, this is the final image. After I was done with this drawing, I liked it, but I still felt like I could do better than this. But before jumping to the second attempt, here's what I learned during this drawing session. A strong value contrast is great. Also, the time pressure did result in the style that I wanted to achieve, meaning it looked quite rough and chaotic, yet still appealing. The most important takeaway though, I will explain while my second attempt shows in the background. What I noticed once the 30 minutes had run out was that during this drawing session I had entered some kind of meditative state. Like I was focused on this one single thing, drawing, which makes sense in retrospect. After all, during my usual drawing sessions, without any time pressure, I would listen to music or podcasts and at times maybe pick up the phone on my desk and randomly scroll on Instagram. Or I'd watch YouTube videos or get stuck at a particular stage of the drawing and struggle to keep going. I didn't experience any of this during this 30-minute drawing session though, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Due to the time pressure, I didn't turn on music which could distract me. I also didn't turn on any podcast. Instead, I focused solely on drawing. Same with my phone, I couldn't dare to waste precious time to check my messages. I also didn't have any unnecessary distracting thoughts since I had to focus on drawing if I wanted to finish on time. So unknowingly I entered a state of mind where I wasn't distracted by anything. And only after the session was over, I even realized that I had been in some meditative state. I think this could be referred to as the zone or flow that people often talk about on the internet, where you're focused on one singular thing, in this case drawing. Anyways, it felt pretty great, and it wasn't a one-time thing either. While drawing what you can see in the background here, I experienced the same thing again. By the way, looking at this drawing, I felt like I was cooking there. Even now, I still feel like this drawing is pretty awesome. By the way, this is a fan art for the character Megumi from the series Jujutsu Kaisen. After 29 minutes and 31 seconds, I was done, and yeah, it still looks really cool in my opinion. Although I do have to admit that I added his right ear while the timer was already stopped, because I only noticed it then that you should be able to see part of his ear from this angle. In my defense, adding the ear took maybe 10 seconds, and since I still had 29 seconds left until I reached 30 minutes, I thought it was okay to do that. In this illustration, I once again showed the major forms through just one bright light source, and the saturated red really helps this stand out. Also, the rough look is quite appealing in my opinion. Admittedly, there are a lot of things that I would love to render in more detail, such as the hair, but I do fear that this will pretty much destroy the current energy of the drawing. Compared to the first drawing, I think the second one looks better, but could I get an even better result in my third try? I wanted to know, so I just started drawing. This time it would be the character Himme from the series Frieren. Himme is a very calm and soothing character, and I intended to convey that in this drawing. One thing I noticed during this drawing process especially was that the ugly sketch phase lasted a lot longer this time compared to the earlier two illustrations. Usually this would have made me restart the painting or scrap it entirely and start something else. But since I had a limited amount of time and the timer had already started, I just had to keep going even while the drawing looked kinda off. So that's another major advantage of doing timed drawing sessions. It gets rid of perfectionism. If you get a sketch that looks ugly, then you just gotta roll with it, because you know, time is limited. And you don't even have to fear wasting hours upon hours on one single drawing that might turn out bad. No, since you will at most spend half an hour on it, even rendering an off-looking sketch doesn't feel like a waste of time at all. Instead, you just render it and keep drawing, essentially ignoring any sense of perfectionism you have. And after 29 minutes and 44 seconds, I was done with this piece too. I have to admit that this one looks a lot weaker than my first two drawings, but hey, you can't always win. Also, I mean, it still looks fine though. And finally, with this drawing, I finished 3 drawings each in under 30 minutes. But what did I learn from this? First of all, I enjoy drawing while under time pressure. It forces me to stop overthinking every brushstroke, and it stops me from being distracted by my phone, YouTube, etc. Instead, I enter a state of complete focus, and that feels nice. Secondly, it's great for learning how to simplify drawings. For example, I had to really simplify the shading down to at most 3 values per material due to the lack of time. I also had to paint as efficiently as possible, express as much form as possible with the least amount of brushstrokes. Furthermore, the resulting chaotic and loose style looks pretty good in my opinion. After all, I like how these drawings turned out. Producing 3 drawings in just 1.5 hours is also much quicker than my usual 5 hours per drawing, thereby allowing me to convey an emotion or draw a specific setting much faster than usual. Basically, I learned a lot, and I will definitely repeat such timed drawing sessions in the future, maybe with 45 minutes this time. We will see. So, if you feel like any of these points could be helpful to you too, then I encourage you to try this challenge for yourself. I promise you that it will change your art significantly and help you improve at art generally too. Here is a quick summary of all the small rules and guidelines I kept in mind while drawing, in case you want to attend this challenge the same way I did. If you'd like to learn more about drawing in general, you might want to check out some of my other videos, such as the one where I talk about my basic approach to drawing eyes. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this video, or at least feel motivated to draw and improve your own art skills now. In any case, thank you for watching, I really appreciate it, and bye.